Have you heard of the misleading advertisements? Like in 30 days, reduce belly fat by 20 kgs और similar kinds of things. जैसे पतंजलि के कोरोनिल किट के बारे में फैलाया गया, that this coronal kit, if someone uses, then there will be 100% cure of the corona, right? So what kind of advertisement are these? These are misleading advertisements. And recently this issue has come up in front of the Supreme Court. Actually, Supreme Court was hearing the case regarding the misleading and the false advertisements done by the Patanjali, right? So in that process only, the Supreme Court has directed to different stakeholders that what they should be considering regarding the false advertisements or regarding the misleading advertisements. So we will be going into this issue. We will be learning what are the issue, what has been the Supreme Court judgments regarding this. But first of all, let's understand the basic, because without basic you will not be able to understand the topic, right? So let's come to this. The surrogate or the misleading advertisements. So what are these kinds of advertisements? Consumer Protection Act of 2019, it lists some of the misleading advertisements, like falsely describing a product or the services. काम किसी चीज का है but दिखा कुछ और रहा है, right? So that will be coming under this. Then providing a false guarantee, right? Like 30 दिन के अंदर फराटेदार इंग्लिश बोलना सीखिए, right? So what is this? This is the false guarantee. It is not possible, right? Similarly, if anything, any practice which is being done, which is having any kind of unfair trade practices, so that will also be included into the surrogate or the misleading advertisements, right? हर एक दिन न्यूज़पेपर में, टीवी चैनल्स पे, सब जगह आप ये इस तरह के मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट जो हैं वो देख रहे होंगे, right? So that is there. Then there is a body, that is the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA. The CCPA, it was established under the Consumer Protection Act 2019 itself, and it acts as a regulatory body, right? The nodal ministry for the CCPA is the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, right? What are the composition of this? There will be a chief commissioner who will be heading this CCPA, and there will be 2 other members or the 2 other commissioners who will be dealing. What will be the main responsibility of this CCPA? As it is regarding the consumer protection, so they will taking up all the matters regarding the consumers related thing which is there, because of which the consumer could not get satisfied, right? So that is there. One portal is there, that is the broadcast Seva portal. Now what is there in this portal? So this is a single point facility to all the stakeholders, means those who want to have some kind of advertisement, those who want to advertise about any product, right? So they can visit to this portal, they can request for some kind of permission, they can request for some kind of registration or the licenses to do such kinds of things regarding advertisements. So that will be done. From where they will be requesting the permission of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and once the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting gives the permission, then those advertisements, those advertisers could broadcast anything, right? So that is there. Now coming back to this news, recently the Supreme Court of India has said that the advertisers will have to submit self-declaration before promoting products in the media. This has been done. So what has been Supreme Court said? Supreme Court said that you will have to self-declare that whatever the product which you are going to advertise, right? So they do not contain any kind of misleading information or the misleading facts, or they are not having any kind of false claims in that product, right? So this self declaration has to be submitted. and this has to be done before the media start broadcasting it, right? Then only it has some benefit. Also, the Supreme Court has given that if a advertiser is willing to advertise something, right, so that advertiser, they will upload the self declaration on this broadcast seva portal, right, and they must be broadcasting through some TV channels or some like the web portals or anything, right. So one copy of this self declaration has to be submitted to those broadcasters also, like for example if OTT platforms and other things, so that broadcasters also will have to be aware what kind of advertisement is going on, and only when all these steps have been followed, then advertisement can be issued, right. So that is there. Supreme Court also has said regarding the print media, because right now there is no provisions for the self declaration for the print media, as there is no such portal itself, right. Therefore the Supreme Court has said to the ministry that please have a portal similar to the broadcast seva portal for the print media also, and that too has to be there within 4 weeks. And if only when this after this portal will be coming up, then all the advertisers, they will have to submit whatever they want to print, whatever they want to advertise in the print media. So they will have to also submit some kind of self declaration to this portal, and only after this declaration has been made, advertisement can be made through the print media also. जैसे न्यूज़पेपर में आता है, जर्नल्स में आता है, तो इन सब सारे में आपको वो जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट दिखता है वो तभी किया जा सकता है जब आप मिनिस्ट्री को ये बताए हो, राइट. सो दैट इज देयर. नाउ in recent times there has been lots of influencer, YouTube influencer, Instagram influencer, right. So on different platforms there has been influencers, plus public figures are already there, celebrities, Bollywood celebrities are also already there, right. So these influencers, they advertise about something, for example some gaming app, right. So they should first understand what that advertisement says. They should have some experience regarding this, right, because ultimately it is the responsibility of those influencers that they do not convey any false information and they do not propagate any kind of misleading advertisements, right. So this Supreme Court has said, they have said that the social media influencers, celebrities or the public figures, they will have to act with a sense of responsibility. It is their responsibility that they make aware about that product to the citizen of the country, right. And they should themselves make sure that they are not part of any deceptive advertising, right. जैसे बहुत बार ऐसा देखा जाता है कि गुटखा का एड पान मसाला का नाम यूज करके किया जाता है, राइट. सो दैट इज रॉन्ग, दैट इज मिसलीडिंग, दैट शुड नॉट हैपन. प्लस those influencers who are advertising something, they should have some kind of experience, they should have some kinds of information. But in recent days ऐसा हो रहा है कि सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर्स without knowing anything, they just advertise about things, right. For example, the gaming apps or betting apps, they are frequently doing just for the money, right. So that should not happen. The Supreme Court has stated this. Also, regarding the consumer complaints, the consumer who will feel cheated, who will be dissatisfied with the service or the product, they have the right to file a complaint, right. So that is there. So once the consumer file a complaint regarding any product or any service, So responsibility comes to the central government. The central government first has to set up a proper procedure, means what procedure should be followed by the consumers for filing that complaint. Once that has been set and the consumer has filed for some complaints, then it is the responsibility of the central government that they should make the consumer know, means what happened to that complaint, what action has been taken regarding this, right? So that is there, whether there has been any kind of logical conclusion or not. So all these things has been taken care of. Another thing, recently what is happening, this not recently, this has been a general trend, that FSSAI guidelines has not been followed, right? And consumers filed complaint regarding this. So the Ministry of Health is responsible, because FSSAI comes under the nodal ministry, that is the Ministry of Health. The Supreme Court has directed to the Ministry of Health that they should provide data on the number of complaints received by the FSSAI, because many a times the quality of products, for example quality of biscuits, quality of mixtures, that is not good, right? Because of which the people may have faced some kind of illness, right, injury, so that can be there. So if the consumer has filed any kind of regarding any kind of misleading advertisements or misbranding of the food or the health items or the products, so that data the Supreme Court has said the Ministry of Health to collect those data and present in the court, right? So all these things has been said by the Supreme Court. Now, what are the significance of this and what should be the way forward? First thing is, the Supreme Court has identified the issue of the social influencers or these celebrities, that without knowing anything they just advertise just for the money, right? So now it is the responsibility of the influencer also that they should act with the responsibility, right? So that has been fixed. Plus it is the responsibility of the advertiser also, means whatever they want to advertise, first they will have to give self-declaration, means whatever they are giving information through the advertisement, there is not any kind of misleading information or false information in that, right? So that has to be there. Plus it is the responsibility of ministry also that time to time they should be checking whether that self-declaration which has been submitted by the advertisers, whether that has been fulfilled or not. So that responsibility has also been given to the ministry. Plus ultimately what does it aim? It aims to the consumer protection, because ultimately the consumers are cheated, consumers are dissatisfied, consumers fall prey of all these kinds of misleading advertisements. So consumer protection has been taken care of. And another thing is, if all these things, all these steps will be implemented in proper manner, then there will be less number of the false claims or the false advertisements on the TV channels or on the this newspapers, print media also, right? So this was all about this issue. This was all about the landmark judgment, the Supreme Court judgment, which it has said regarding different stakeholders regarding the false or the misleading advertisements. So we will be continuing further this series. Keep learning. Thank you very much.